And there are reports of fresh violence in Gosaigaon in Kokrajhar. This when the Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh was visiting the affected areas. The Home Minister is visiting the violence affected area in Assam after Bodo terrorists struck and killed 65 people. At least 10 more have now been killed in retaliatory strikes, and curfew was initially imposed in several districts. Now it's been partially relaxed in Sonitpur for Christmas. Headlines today is Manogya Loiwal now joins us with the latest from Ground Zero. Manogya, fresh violence even as the Home Minister was visiting. Are central police forces not enough to contain the situation?
Well, Gaurav, it was expected that there would be a backlash, and perhaps the biggest fear has now come true. The fact that there is backlash in several areas, especially Gosaigaon area, which has been tensed always, even in the past also, because of the Bodo versus Tribal fight there. And now again with the Home Minister visiting these two districts, Sonitpur and Kokrajhar today, and the violence spiraling out of control again, despite the curfew in the place. The big question is on what kind of security arrangements have been made. We've seen that even as we have been traveling, our cars have been stopped at various intervals and have been picketed at different places. But that does not stop the miscreants to conduct what they want to do. And perhaps that's the reason which is the biggest trouble for the security agencies also. Remember, army has been deployed in the two districts, and there has been a lot of action that has been taken, including a promising of a combing operation in the area. But that does not suffice for these miscreants, and perhaps even as the militants might have been away, the fact that the villagers have now taken up to themselves and are fighting it out as an ethnic violence in this district.
In fact, given that the army is now launching massive operations, they're taking support of neighboring countries. The border with Bhutan is understood to have been sealed. Tell us more about the counter-terror operations that are now being initiated.
First, there are two aspects to it. The first is that the combing operation will continue and the militants will be targeted as far as the security agencies are concerned. The army has been, 51 companies of army has been deployed, and very categorically they have been completely briefed on how to go ahead with the action and not to think twice before any kind of counter-attack that they wish to take. But most importantly, that due to the vicinity of the international border, the Ministry of External Affairs too has been briefed on to ensure that any kind of assistance that is required from the neighboring country, including the sealing of the borders and a double checking at the borders, so that these miscreants and militants do not sneak into the neighboring countries, is also what is being considered.
Okay. So there is counter-terror operations that are going on, the army and central paramilitary forces there. As far as the people are concerned, this backlash was expected. Why did Tarun Gogoi's government fail to deploy people in adequate numbers? Or is this because the villages are so small, protecting every village, every household, clearly not possible?
Gaurav, both of these points are correct. First, is that it is a big and a massive failure on the part of the state government on being unable to analyze the situation. If the state government had announced that they would go ahead with stern action against the Bodo militants, they should have been prepared that there would be an attack from the NDFB Sonit group militants. Now, this was ignored. There were categorical appearances that were given, and also instances that were given that there could be an attack from the Bodo militants, but that was regularly ignored. Now, beyond this ignorance, the biggest trouble was that they knew that as the backlash took place, there will be a backlash from the Adivasis too.
Yes.
This has happened in the past also. Assam has witnessed ethnic violence, which I have covered myself for more than a month here in Assam. But then, perhaps it is the toughest part of it is that the state government refuses to learn from the past lessons and has done the same mistake again.
Keep tracking that story, Manogya. I will come back to you for more. Complicit or careless remains the big question, and we will track this story in Assam very closely.